Here is Pinus strobus, or eastern white pine. And you'll notice this one here is really narrow and it looks like it lost a lot of branches. One of its strengths is the trunk. The branches are weak. They can't hold the weight like a trunk can. And this is one of the things that is kind of interesting to me. When the snow load is on the branches, those branches can snap very easily so that the tree doesn't have a lot of pressure on it. It's a survival mechanism, if you will. And in this case, these are very old pine trees, white pines, and they were used for ships' masts back in the colonial days. In fact, the King of England had his people here in the colonies portion off areas that had the best white pine and reserve them for his fleet. This is a 5-needle pine, and I'm going to show you in a minute. Let me just show you the bark first. And the bark is very attractive. And I'm here at White Marsh Memorial Park. That's why you see a gravestone here. But here is the bark. And it does have a lot of knots in the wood. Wherever there's a branch, there'll be a knot in the wood. And the needle, so I'm going to show you this branch over here. There's a branch right here. Let me pick this out of the snow. Here is a branch. And each of the fascicle bundles has 5 needles. In order to take a sample, to count them, I always like to look at the tip of the branch, because sometimes the older needles will fall to go towards the tip. This one here has 5 to it. That's a fascicle bundle. Can you see that? And there's 5 needles to that grouping. So some people will say, 5 needles, WHITE, white, so that they will use that as an indicator for a white pine. Now, a white pine, there's a lot of white pines around the world. This happens to be our eastern white pine. But there's a whole grouping or subgrouping of pines that are called white pines. And there's Japanese white pine. There's Pinus flexilis, which is a western tree that has 5 needles. Well, you find them pretty much around the same latitude on the Earth's surface around the globe. So that's a 5-needle pine. And there you have the needles. And I wanted to show you a cone. I thought I saw a cone earlier here. Yeah. The cones are usually a soft cone. And here's a cone right here. This one here is a little bit tired looking, but it'll usually have resins on the scales. And the scales, once the seeds are released, they usually stay open. When the seeds haven't been released, they'll open and close until they are totally released. And then they'll kind of get tired looking over time. They do have this resin on the edges, and that's typical for most white pines to have a resin on their scales. And the cones can be much bigger than this too. They usually hang in clusters towards the tip of the branches, and some years they're very, very heavy. This year they're very, very light. Last year was a very heavy year for pine cones. So again, this is Pinus strobus, or eastern white pine. Pretty tree.